with you. It's formalities, it's tradition and stuff that I really don't have a lot of regard for. But I guess you're supposed to have an engagement ring first and go steady. And I kind of like that. I remember how even in like sixth grade, junior high, that was pre-junior high, right? Sixth grade. Well, for now, I guess they're calling it junior high, sixth, seventh, and eighth. But back when I went to school, sixth grade in 1970, we're talking about 72 probably. Maybe even 71. So, 71, 70, 71. I used to love to go steady with girls. And as far back, the whole ring thing, it was so much fun. But when I was 5 years old, I had a girlfriend when I lived in Florida. We had a beautiful yard in Florida, 50 palm trees on our lot. Dolphins singing out in the front every morning. At 5 years old, I absolutely loved it. But Patty used to come over and with her little purse, and she used to keep cheese in her purse. But I was totally infatuated with just the opposite sex, the femininity. I love Patty. I have loved girls since I was very young, and before her even. In Santa Cruz, no, that was after. No, that was after. It was Margaret. She used to swing on the monkey bars and let the boys see her underpants, and that was a real turn on. I remember it. God, it's hard to believe, but children fall in love, and I sure remember falling in love over and over. It's a little different in Europe. I don't remember that. I was segregated in Ireland. It was boys went to the public school, which was Catholic, and the girls go to a convent. In England, it was the same thing. I think the girls, a separate area of the school at least. It wasn't Catholic, but it was very formal. Everybody had to wear a uniform. But I never met any girls in England, Ireland, or Malta. But Malta was useless going to school there. I didn't speak a word of Maltese, nor did I have any interest, so I perpetually played hooky. I guess that would be during my second grade, third grade, about that time range. But came back to the States, and I fell in love. There was Tanya in sixth grade, and Barbara, and Julie. I think that was seventh grade. So there were some girls. I always liked the ladies. And it went on and on in high school, and then it just turned into a flurry when I started surfing, and all the girls loved to be with a surfer, put that notch in their belt. I mean, the blonde hair and the tan and just the action and all that. So that was a promiscuous 70s, so it just never ended. I can't even remember most of the girls' names, but they came and went. It's amazing I didn't get worse VD from all that behavior. Thank God I don't have anything today. I'm very lucky. Got away with it by God's grace. I don't know how I got into this big long subject. I'm just hung up on meeting this woman, and she's taken, and the relationship, even if she was willing to take on an older man like me, would be met with enormous consternation. Both parts. I mean, family and friends even, and society at large. I mean, consternation would come from everywhere just because of the age difference. So, but like I said, I don't see a damn thing that is immoral, nor do I see, of course, there's nothing illegal about it. She's definitely of age. Let's just put it that way, without naming a number. But boy, I sure got off on talking about Holly, but I love you all. Ladies, I love you all, And I just want to merge with the feminine side, and I wish I could have you all you desirable, beautiful females. Well, listen, I hope that my economics lesson was sufficient because, I mix a lot of different stuff, and the spirituality, like Jesus said, the money, he likened it to a false god. It's a competing false god, money. So be very clear. Let's not mince words. Okay, let's be very clear. Okay, make no bones about it, as they say. Okay. So money is the root of all evil. It's the love of money. Money plays a key role in that sentence. So it's the top money lovers that create the policies that we're all compelled to live under by law that they exempt themselves from. So our entire paradigm from birth is skewed, it's warped, it's twisted, it's deranged, it's perverted, it's adulterated, it's wrong, it's immoral, it's unethical. It's putting chains on us through telling us that no, this earth isn't God's and you're not God's children deserving to share in the earth's inherent wealth and all the accumulated technology, infrastructure, and everything else. No, that's not the paradigm where you're all born free, financially free from birth. No, that's not it. We're going to put you in chains, and this is how we're going to do it, through the money, the root of all evil. So to this day, we've got to understand that Satan is still very much involved and largely running the show. Ultimately, God does. So the good guy will prevail. That's the prediction. And all prophecy comes true. So it's coming. That day is coming. So we need to get our hearts and minds and souls ready for a world entirely without money. We got to wean ourselves off the junk, off the heroin, and that is the money. And we could do that. We could do it if we had sound economic policies. But you understand why they would fight against that. The evildoers would fight against that. That's the last thing they want, because that would effectively set the captives free eventually, over time, as you have real progress and your currency keeps increasing in worth. You can see where that leads. More and more stuff gets dirt cheap or free. Your currency keeps going up in worth, so you're able to save more of it. So not only do you have more numbers, but the worth of those numbers are higher. Do you get how this would work? Gradually setting the captives free from the money masters of misery. Okay, and I know my stuff. I know what free market capitalism brings. But you can't call 2008 free market capitalism, and you can't say that you're not willing to revisit it and then call yourself a true capitalist. You're a crony capitalist, and you got some explaining to do to all those socialists that are not being created in a vacuum, that are not being plucked from thin air. Okay, you, not me. I'm explaining, I'm making it very clear. Yes, we need to revisit 2008 in the name of free market capitalism. We need to have a market correction. Okay, the criminals need to get a big fat haircut, maybe take a little of the skin off. Okay, make sure they stay bald because they deserve it. With the misery they cause, the betrayal that was the ball that was put in motion by Slick Willie when he got rid of the Glass-Steagall Act, a consumer protection regulation to keep the banksters at bay to some degree. He yanked that when he allowed it to expire. Oh, criminal, traitor. I have not, look, I'm not going to judge him. I'm not going to condemn him. But he better confess that that was criminal. He hasn't to this day. He better admit it. I mean, look, I'm not his owner. Everybody is owned by God. That's your judge. That's Judgment Day. You'll face the one that owns you. Because how important is any human to you? They can't save your life. Okay? So everybody that I point out as being evil, they're on their own with their creator. I mean, I'm warning them. I don't want their blood on my hands or on my head, but they've got to confess it. They've got to confess it. They've got to admit it. Okay? I've got an obligation, a duty, a responsibility, a right, definitely a right, at least minimum a right, to point these things out and point out the evil in the land. Call a spade, point out that the fruits are rotten, that they stink to high heaven, that they're traitors and treasonous against the best interests of the American people at large, and by extension the rest of the world, because America influences everything around the world. We're screwing it up. Coin clipping, the equivalent by clipping your currency, debasing it, deworthing it, through raising your cost of living tax perpetually. You see how this thing goes? I mean, that's, the economics lesson for the day is just that, look, this thing is fraudulent up one side, down the other. There's no denying it. I say this without an iota of equivocation. And when you get it, you'll understand how powerful it is, how empowering it is. I'm done. I'm based. I'm out of here, man. I get it. And I can't worry that I want a lot of people. I know a lot of people do. They understand what I'm saying. That I'm not just some pipe dreaming idealist, but the things I talk about are very biblically based. And I'm very conservative. If you talk about playing this game of capitalism and fixing the problems and having lower taxes, so nobody can call me a socialist. So I want to have the conversation with all these people. All they got up their sleeve is just to condemn and slam socialism every time they get. Just say, well, you know what? And so they don't say a word about the fact that crony capitalism has been the rule of the day in America for a long time, and that we need to revisit '08. They won't. No, they'll deflect, and they'll just keep on over and over, beating a dead horse. Yes, we all know Venezuela's destroyed, the USSR was destroyed, and it's all bad.